Imagine someone sitting at a restaurant with friends. They're laughing, they're ordering, they suggest dessert. When the bill comes, they say, "Just split it evenly," without even looking at the total. Later that night, they lie awake, staring at the ceiling, calculating how many days until their next paycheck, wondering if their card will be declined at the grocery store tomorrow. Nobody at that table had any idea. This is one of the most common and least talked about psychological experiences in modern life. People who are quietly drowning financially, but working incredibly hard to make sure no one ever finds out. And the question worth asking isn't, why are they lying? The real question is, what is actually happening inside a person who feels like they cannot afford to tell the truth about money? Because this isn't about dishonesty, not really. It's about survival. It's about shame. It's about a brain doing exactly what it was built to do under threat. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you stop seeing these people as irresponsible or fake. You start seeing them as human beings caught in a very specific and very painful trap. If that already sounds familiar, stay with this, because what comes next explains a lot. The first thing to understand is that hiding financial struggle isn't a personality flaw. It's a response to a very real social threat. Researchers call it anticipated stigmatization. It means that before anyone even judges you, you've already imagined the judgment. You've already felt the shame. And your entire behavior starts organizing itself around preventing that moment from ever happening. In our culture, money and worth got mixed up somewhere along the way. A person's financial situation stopped being just a set of numbers and started being read as a reflection of their character, their intelligence, their discipline, their value as a human being. So, when someone falls into debt or can't pay their bills, something deeper than guilt gets activated. It's not just, "I made a bad decision." It becomes, "I am a bad person." That shift from guilt to shame changes everything. Guilt says you did something wrong. Shame says you are something wrong. And shame, unlike guilt, doesn't motivate change. It motivates hiding. But there's another layer underneath this that most people never think about. For many people, their relationship with money was shaped long before they ever earned their first paycheck. Children who grew up watching their parents fight about bills, who heard the word, "we can't afford it," as a constant background noise, who felt the specific anxiety of financial instability in a household, carry that experience forward. And sometimes, the adult version of that child uses spending, or the appearance of spending, as a way to rewrite that story. Buying things becomes a way of telling themselves, "I'm okay now, I have enough, I'm not that scared kid anymore." It's not logical, but it's deeply human. Here's where the science gets genuinely surprising. Financial stress doesn't just feel bad. It actually changes how the brain functions. Research in behavioral economics has shown that chronic financial worry consumes so much cognitive bandwidth that it can temporarily reduce a person's effective IQ by around 13 to 14 points. That's not a small number. That's the difference between clear thinking and foggy thinking, between good decisions and decisions that look completely irrational from the outside. When the brain is stuck in scarcity mode, it shifts into a kind of tunnel vision. It focuses intensely on the immediate problem and loses access to long-term thinking. Planning ahead becomes genuinely harder. Weighing consequences becomes harder. This is why someone who seems smart and capable in every other area of life can make financial decisions that seem baffling. It's not stupidity. It's a brain under siege, doing the only thing it knows how to do: survive right now. And then social media makes everything worse. The human brain is wired to monitor social status. For most of human history, being excluded from the group meant death. So, the subconscious treats a perceived drop in social standing as a genuine threat. When people scroll through carefully curated images of friends on vacation, colleagues buying new cars, influencers living in spaces that look like hotels, something primal activates. a quiet panic, a need to keep up, to not fall behind, to not be seen as less. Research on conspicuous consumption shows that people with lower self-esteem are especially vulnerable to this dynamic on social media. Luxury purchases, or the appearance of them, become tools for repairing a damaged self-image. The expensive dinner, the new outfit posted online, the casual mention of a trip. These aren't random choices. They're signals, sent outward, but also inward. I'm still here. I still belong. I'm still worth something. There's also what researchers call revenge spending. After prolonged financial restriction, the psychological pressure builds until it finds a release. A person who has been saying no to everything finally says yes to something they absolutely shouldn't. Not because they forgot their situation, but because the need for a moment of control, of pleasure, of normalcy becomes overwhelming. It's a brief escape, and it costs more than money. Now here's where things get more complex, because the hiding doesn't only happen with words, it happens with behavior. And once you know what to look for, the patterns become visible. People who are pretending to be financially okay tend to change the subject when plans involving money come up. They go quiet when someone mentions a trip, or suddenly become vague when the details of a group expense are being worked out. They forget to pay their share of a bill, not out of greed, but to delay the moment of spending. They become defensive if anyone asks even a casual question about their finances. They insist on splitting checks evenly, even when they ordered much less, because letting anyone else pay for them feels like exposure. Psychologists have a name for one of the most common patterns: the ostrich effect. It describes the very human tendency to avoid looking at information that causes pain. The brain registers financial stress in the same neural regions that process physical pain. So, avoiding it isn't weakness. It's the brain protecting itself from something it experiences as genuinely threatening. People delete their banking apps so they don't have to see the balance. They let bills pile up unopened. They avoid financial advisors not because they don't know they need help, but because asking for help means admitting the truth out loud. And that feels more dangerous than the debt itself. There's also something called financial imposter syndrome. Many people in financial difficulty quietly believe they are fundamentally incapable of managing money, that any past success was luck, that they're a fraud who will eventually be found out. This belief doesn't push them toward solutions. It paralyzes them. It makes the idea of investing, saving, or asking for advice feel pointless. Why try if you're just going to fail anyway? But here's the nuance that matters. Not everyone who avoids their finances does it for the same reason. Some people are protecting their ego. Some are protecting old wounds. Some are genuinely overwhelmed and don't know where to start. Some are ashamed. Some are afraid. The behavior can look identical from the outside while being completely different on the inside. That distinction matters because the path forward is different for each person. The deepest cost of financial pretending isn't the interest rate on the debt. It's what happens to a person's inner life and their relationships while they're maintaining the mask. In romantic relationships, financial hiding is more common than most people realize. Partners conceal debt, hide credit card statements, keep separate accounts, maintain spending habits they know their partner would not accept. Researchers call this financial infidelity, and the damage it does is similar to other forms of infidelity. It breaks trust. It creates asymmetry, one person carrying the full weight of reality while the other is protected from it. It turns what should be a team into two individuals moving in different directions. Studies consistently show that financial infidelity is associated with lower relationship satisfaction, reduced financial well-being for both partners, and in many cases, outcomes that are very hard to recover from. But the cost that almost never gets named is the loneliness. The specific, suffocating loneliness of performing okayness while feeling anything but okay. The energy required to maintain the performance is enormous. It shows up as sleep problems, mood swings, irritability, social withdrawal. In some cases, it leads to alcohol use, not as a moral failure, but as a way to quiet a brain that never gets to rest from the performance. And here is the deepest irony of all of this. The whole reason people wear the mask is to stay connected, to keep their place in their social world, to not be rejected. But the mask itself is what disconnects them, because the version of themselves that everyone else sees isn't real. And you cannot be truly close to someone who doesn't know the truth about you. So they end up more isolated than if they had said nothing at all, surrounded by people, but completely alone in the only part of life that actually matters to them. Financial struggle is already hard enough on its own, but carrying it in silence, performing stability while falling apart privately, turns a financial problem into a psychological one. And psychological weight, unlike debt, doesn't show up on any statement. It just accumulates quietly, in the spaces between what is real and what the world is allowed to see. Understanding this doesn't fix the problem, but it does something important. It shifts the frame. These aren't irresponsible people. They're not faking confidence out of arrogance. They're people doing the most exhausting thing imaginable, trying to stay safe in a world that confused their bank balance with their worth. And sometimes, the most powerful thing that can happen to someone in that position is for another person to understand why they built the mask in the first place. If this video put into words something you felt, or helped you understand someone in your life a little better, leave a comment below. And if this kind of content speaks to you, honest, psychology-based, and built around understanding people more deeply, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more where this came from.